Welcome to Breaking the Chains Repatriation Journeys. I'm your host, Bakita, and today I'm here with Tanya. Tanya, would you please do us a favor and introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to come on to discuss this much needed topic about what it takes to repatriate. And yes, I am Tanya Sophia Ankama. A lot of people call me Sister Ya. And I've been coming to Ghana for over 10 years now. I've lived here and I just been in and out. So I've lived here before and now I'm back again to stay. And before I lived here, I was in and out and in between in and out. So, but I'm back here to stay. The plan is to stay permanently this time. But yeah, I am, let's see, I'm originally from Mississippi. I grew up in the military, and then I went into the military myself, and I got my bachelor's degree from Austin Peay State University in political science and a minor in business. And then I went to law school after the military. After I got my, I went into the military first, and then I got out and got my undergrad degree, and then I went to law school at the University of Memphis. Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law, where I graduated, and then I worked for the Shelby County Public Defender for a while, and I went into private practice for a while, and then I moved to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I was an assistant attorney general over there for quite a few years, and where I prosecuted from misdemeanor crimes all the way up to major crimes, including murder cases and things like that. So. But I started going to Ghana around 2009 or 10 when I first started going. And I had some friends that I become close to. I met and became close to in Memphis, where I was had my own law practice, and they had been traveling to Ghana, and just listening to them and seeing their pictures and videos and hearing about their experience, it kind of piqued my interest to also want to go and see. And when I came, I fell in love, and I just have not been able to shake Ghana or Africa since that time. And so I started feeling this overwhelming pull to just leave, to come to Africa. It was just something I couldn't shake. It was like I was being called. Honestly, that's the only way. In my spirit, I was being called. Yeah. And so by that time, that was in 2013, I told my husband, because I married a Ghanaian. I met my husband in Ghana on one of those trips, and we were, having a long distance thing going on, and then we got married in 2012, and then he came over into work and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm not happy. I want to go to Ghana. So, and I told him that it's something really pulling me to go there. So he was like, okay, if that's what you really want to do. So he said, I'll support it. Right. So I put in my letter of resignation, and I left with my two youngest kids at that time, which the other ones were adults, but my daughter was 17 and my youngest son was 3 when we left. And we lived here for 2 years, from 2013 to 2015. And at that time, Ghana was going through a energy crisis.
Yes.
Which became something that we were not accustomed to, honestly. And it
was hard.
It became really bad.
Yeah.
And so I said, it was becoming too much for me and the kids. So I told my husband, well, we're going to come back. So he just bought us tickets, and we went back, and I stayed there in the DC area for about 5 years. And now we're back again to stay. So what, we always intended to stay in Ghana. Like I said, my husband is Ghanaian. It's always been the plan to come back. But how it is when you procrastinate and you get distracted and you start doing other things, and that's basically what happened. But then when the coronavirus came, it kind of like shook us back to reality. Me and my husband,
Right.
and he was like, "No, no, we gotta put it in overdrive. You know what I mean? We gotta stop playing around." So, especially when the borders closed, and we were like, even if we wanted to go, we can't go. That really shook us up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we took it for granted that we could just go whenever. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
when that happened, it literally just lit a fire up under us, and my husband was like, "No." So he said, "You and the kids go back," and he wanted to start putting up the house because we had been, just pussyfooting around. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
as soon as I got back in September, he started sending the money, and we our house is under construction now. And plus, I had started the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program while I was over there in the States, because I was able to, over the decades and over the time I've been living here, I was able to see the problems that people were having with repatriation.
Right.
The difficulties with getting over here and staying. It's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. And I noticed that the vast majority of the people who were coming and able to stay without a lot of major problems were retirees, pensioners, people
Absolutely.
who had reached the age where they could collect the Social Security and the disability and the retirement and stuff like that. And they had that steady income coming in. So you'll find that the vast majority of repatriates are people that are 60 plus because of that reason, whether they're coming from the Caribbean or they're coming from the UK or the United States. The overwhelming majority of people who are able to repatriate successfully are older people.
Exactly.
And I was like, because over the course of the years, I had seen so many younger people struggle. They would come, but then they would end up having to go back.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working out for the vast majority. If you didn't have something, you know what I mean, something already. And the vast majority of our people in the diaspora, once you leave your job, you don't have any other income. You know what I'm saying? We don't have like generational wealth and all this stuff that's been handed down to us. Yeah, for us to be able to live wherever we want, we literally we're living paycheck to paycheck, the vast majority of our people. So I started writing down all the things that I thought a person would need, a family would need to be able to repatriate successfully. And I said, you know what? Even though our people may not have that money individually, collectively, they have that money. And this is what Marcus Garvey did. He got our people to practice group economics, to pool their money together to accomplish something. Even though he was sabotaged, that's beside the point. He was able to do something that no other organization, other than probably the NOI, has been able to do, is get Black people to come together and pull their money together. So I started looking at, I put together what I thought was to cover all the areas that a person would need to be able to repatriate. And I said, we can fund this for families. We can actually repatriate hundreds of families, in like rotation, and get them over here and get them set up and get them established and everything if everybody pooled their resources. So that's what that organization is about. So it was also beneficial for me to come back over here to be able to try to push and promote that from the ground rather than in the States as well.
Right. Wow. So you, like many others, have been able to get to Ghana and understand why repatriation isn't as simple as so many like to make it seem. Moving from state to state is tough.
Yeah.
I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I moved here from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I was born and raised. And even at that time, that was in 1998. And in that time, the only reason that it was easy for me was because I have family here in Atlanta. And I had a support system here in Atlanta. So when you move from the States to another country in Africa, we're virtually moving by ourselves. We have no family. Most of the times we don't have friends or real established relationships. So I do think that, you know, having something like your program is a really good thing. We need those things. I've some years ago, back in like 2015, I was trying to help. I know you know Dr. Maulana. I was trying to help him trying to get some programs together where we could help each other make these things happen. Because when I moved to Ghana, I was, of course, I left a job of 11 years, and we moved. Of course, I had a little money. My husband was good. But the exchange rate had changed. We went from a 2.5 exchange rate to like a 3.5, 3.8 exchange rate. Everything changed for us at that time. So having a repatriation program, I think, is freaking amazing. Can you tell people more about your program and how if they wanted to get involved, how does that work?
Okay, so it's just a year old. Okay, I launched it November 19, 2020. So 2019. So we just turned a year old, and it's still in its infancy stage. I tell people it's the fundraising phase, because without the funds we can't execute, right? But what the things that I looked at, okay, when you arrive, because see, I'm somebody who, I don't believe that repatriation should be just a middle class movement. I don't believe that it should just be the elderly, and it should be just only for people who have the money. Because all of us are descendants of kidnapped and enslaved Africans who did not ask to be taken away. And it is because of the past 400 to 500 years of social and economic oppression that the vast majority of our people don't have the resources to leave. A lot of people want to leave.
Exactly.
Trust me, a lot of people want to leave. They want to leave the Caribbean. They want to leave South America. They want to leave the UK. They want to leave America. They want to leave Canada. They want to. But they just don't have the finances to do it. And that's because we've been put in a position not to have the finances to really do anything.
Right.
So for me, I was like, it's not fair. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? That people have to sit and watch other people and they can't do it because they don't have the resources. So I said, okay, everybody can afford $1 a month, no matter what your situation is. Everybody got 4 quarters they can come up with every month. We pool that money together, and then we select families. Once we get a million, and my goal is to get 1 million brothers and sisters in the diaspora to commit to $1 a month, so that it's not burdensome on any one person. Now, all of us got $1 we can come up with. We're talking about you can even pay for the year $12,
right?
And say, I see y'all next year. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then with that money, we can assist people, get them over here, help them through the immigration process, provide them with some temporary housing for about 6 months. And in that time, we help them register and establish a business, and we give them a stipend that they can, cover their food and necessities. And we help them start a business. We put all we have into helping them establish a business, because I'm going to tell you, do not come over here looking for a job. Just don't. That's not what you want to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Coming to Africa looking for a job out of your mind. Just remove that out of your mind, because one, they don't even pay what you're accustomed to being paid, right? The average salary over here, especially if you don't have a degree, but even if you have a degree, it's not what you're accustomed to making. So you don't, that's not what you want. You understand? That's not what you want. And I'm telling you, that's not what you want.
Right.
And then the other thing is, you don't want to come over here competing for jobs with our brothers and sisters that are here, because they have degrees, they're educated, and we don't want to get in the market, come over here and create some type of hostility that we're competing or taking away jobs.
Right.
But we can come over here and create jobs. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be an entrepreneur and a job creator. That helps our people, and it also helps the local indigenous people as well, right? Mm-hmm. And it helps the local government, because you also create tax revenue for the country, for the community. It's a win-win situation. So my thing is, we got to get our people over here and help them establish businesses, because I see other races of people pooling their resources, like the Lebanese, the Chinese, all these other people, the Indians. They're pooling their resources and they're helping each other establish businesses in Africa.
Right.
So I'm like, that's what we should be doing. Absolutely. That's what we should be doing. Absolutely. You understand? So that's basically the program. And we wanted to start repatriating our people. We wanted to start in 5 countries, which is Gambia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and Ghana. And then hopefully be able to expand to other countries, because we want to give people options. We don't want to tell you got to come here. You know what I mean? Africa has 55 countries. We want you to be able to go wherever you want. All of it is ours, is our home. So
exactly.
But that's the goal. But like I said, we're still in the fundraising phase. Some of the things I'm able to do already, after a year, we still have less than 300 people who are donors, which is kind of sad, because we have thousands of people contacting us who want assistance. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, listen, everybody wants the assistance, but don't nobody want to donate. You know what I'm saying? To help us do the work.
Oh yeah.
So get it. Right. So from here, I'm able to do a lot. Since I've been back, I help people get through the immigration process. I'm able to establish a guest house where when people are coming and they like you said, they don't know anybody. Well, okay, Sister Ya. So you can come here, stay in the guest house. We have reasonable rates. And then I help them get acclimated to the environment, help them, figure out how to move around, different things, help them get through the immigration, help them find permanent housing, even though we can't pay for that now, but we do, what's your budget? I have agents that I work with that are reliable, that are not going to be trying to, jank you, you know what I mean, for your money, stuff like that. So we help people find permanent housing once they get here. Like I said, help them get their permanent residency, because that's the first thing you need to think about when you come here. A lot of our people think once they get a visa, they're good. No, It's not just getting a visa. It's not just getting your passport and getting a visa. You cannot go into somebody's country and just post up without going through immigration. There's an immigration process. Just like you see all these.
Can you say that one more time, just for the people way in the back, so they can hear it?
There is an immigration process for every country. You cannot just go to a foreign country and just stay there without going through immigration. And you need to research and find out what that is, what that process is for the country that you're going to be in. I know the process for Ghana like the back of my hand, because I've gone through it, and also I've helped many others go through it. You know what I mean? But you need to learn that, because I can't tell you how many people have showed up here, came to me, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, well, you know, you got to go. You know, you can only be here for 60 days on your visa, right? You know, in 60 days you're going to be illegal, and they just get this look in their eyes like a deer caught in headlights, like they had they never even thought about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So okay, you mentioned you mentioned that people shouldn't come to Ghana looking for a job. What would you tell people who aren't entrepreneurial minded? They aren't, or they don't want to run a business. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They rather just work and get a check and keep it moving. What would you tell them?
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say lower your standards of living. Don't have high expectations for your standard of living. You got to come up with something. You're going to have to run something online. You're going to have to do something. You got to have a source of income. And I'm going to say this again. The average Ghanaian who doesn't have a degree makes about 500-600 Ghana cedis a month.
Yeah.
That is the equivalent of $100 US.
Yeah, $100.
You know you can't live off of that. So if you got this thing in your mind that you don't want to hustle, you don't want to create a job, you are going to suffer. I'm just going to tell you the honest to God truth. You have to pay your rent up. You have to pay your rent up for a year over here. Okay, so you need to be prepared to pay your rent up for a whole year. And let me put it this way: Ghanaians live. They know how to live. They know how to eat in a certain way. They know how to eat local and manage themselves so that in a year's time, even if they make a 600-700 Ghana cedis a month, that they have some money to. That requires great budgeting skills, and but they also have family and stuff that loan them money. That they got a support system too when that time comes, and you're coming over here, you don't have it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic to come over here and with like $5,000 or $10,000 and think you're just gonna live forever. You're not. It's going to run out. You're gonna eat every day. You got to pay for transportation. You got to pay your rent up. That's not a lot of money, particularly in Ghana. Ghana is one of the most expensive countries in Africa. Yes. But I don't care if you went to the Gambia where $10,000, would be more. It's going to run out if you don't have something replenishing and replacing it. It's going to run out, and then you're going to be poor in America or the UK is not the same as being poor in Africa, because they don't have a welfare system. They don't have any type of social programs that catch people who fall into poverty. So to be poor over here, it's not the same to be, at least over in the States, you can get some low income or some public housing, you get some food stamps, you get something. But over here, you can't get nothing, not a zilch, zero. Right. And I've seen many of people who had to go and do some GoFundMes and stuff just to get money, and just to get a ticket to try to get back, or go to the embassy, have to go to the embassy and have you running from the U.S. and talking shit about the U.S., but when you get down, when you ain't got no money, those are the same people you got to go to get a loan, to get a free ticket to get back to the U.S. Yep. So, yeah. I mean,
people, I think I'm really happy to have you having this conversation with me, because too often people have super high expectations and very low self-accountability.
Really, yeah.
Like it's like people show up in Ghana, and I'm sure you've experienced this. People show up in Ghana and they expect that those who are already there, like yourself, you're supposed to be able to just kind of roll out this red carpet and help them do all of this stuff for free. And they don't quite understand just going from one place to the other, putting some petrol in a car is expensive. Taking a, I mean, you can take a taxi.
Well, and see, and that's why, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do stuff for people for free because of Sankofa, because that organization is a nonprofit, and it's registered. It's a nonprofit out of the state of Wyoming, and it's an NGO here in Ghana. So when somebody says to me, "Sister, I need some help with my immigration," then that's what that money is for. So I get a Bolt or Uber or whatever, and I go to immigrate. I don't charge them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I am trying to be what you say for people, but people have to support it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If there's no funds for, you can't expect Sister Ya to use her own personal money that I have to survive with for myself and my children to run around and do things for people. Exactly. But if you support the program, then I can run around, do things for people, whether they can pay me or not. You see what I'm saying? I had a situation where two brothers were over here and got sick at the same time. One was staying in the guest house and one was staying with his girlfriend. It was like medical crises. I didn't ask those brothers anything about any money. I just went into action. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And trying to get them to proper medical care and things like that. So that's what Sankofa is for. It's for those situations. When you call me and say, "I'm here and I'm in this bad situation," you need somebody to show up. Yeah. And the vast majority of people, I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, they over here living their lives or whatever, they're not gonna show up. They're not. They're not. Right. So you really do, and I find it interesting when people say, "Oh, you don't need, you don't have to pay anybody for this, you don't have to support anybody for that." But when you get over here and you by yourself and you need help.
Yeah. And I think what happens is you have situations where people are saying that they can help folks with their repatriation, but they don't have an actual real program in place. So it looks a little fishy. Like, why would I have to pay you for something like this?
Yeah.
When we could really just have a conversation. But when you have an NGO and you have a nonprofit organization set up to where this is what we do, there's some accountability, like all of the things that the reason why you structure an organization, then I think it makes people feel more comfortable to be able to say, okay, when I give my money to this person, what they're gonna be able to help me, and I'll be able to call them when I'm sick, or I'll be able to call them when I'm having visa issues, whatever the case may be. But when people just you've seen it. I know you've seen it where it's people out here just
my thing is I help people that are not even donors. Mm-hmm. You have to understand, this is my thing. For me, if you are coming here and you are descendant of kidnapped and enslaved Africans, and you get on the ground, you come into a situation, you need some help, somebody needs to show up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. And me, I don't say, well, do you donate before I show up?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just thinking, like, the fact that if we could just have like what you have set up, if we can get more people to actually fund it, then it would make it easier to not have to worry about the money part of it. Because regardless of how we feel about it, how we want to help people, how we want to do things, we need money to do it. So an organization like yours, we need money in the organization to be able to help the people when they do call you. So like when you had these two brothers.
And we need money because Sister Ya is over. I'm overwhelmed, but we don't have the money to hire other people to be there, so it can take some of the pressure off of me. So it's like everybody is calling me. Everybody is calling me. And so me being the person that I am, I've been trying to figure out how to help everybody. Whatever the situation is, I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got a call from Brother RJ in Senegal. A sister called him from Atlanta to say that her relative had died over here in Ghana. They're all the way in the States. They need somebody to retrieve the body, handle the burial. Who's going to do that? You see what I'm saying? And I just was like, okay, his body is an hour and a half away from me. I called a sister in that town so she can try to figure out what's going on with the body. But ultimately, I already know I'm going to end up being the one having to deal with that. Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
See, I did a previous video about this type of stuff in Ghana, because what tends to happen is people forget that folks die. You could die. Somebody could die. We have to have some kind of way to deal with that when it happens. I know if you know many of the people in the repatriation community, it happens way too often that the situation is like this. Everybody now we trying why would somebody have to call Senegal for Senegal to have to call somebody to call Senegal, to call Atlanta, to call back to Pram, to call back? That's too much. That's too much going on. Granted, I'm glad that there's a connection like that, but it's happened to me on several occasions where I'm here in Atlanta, somebody in Arizona called me about somebody who died in Ghana, and we trying to figure out how to connect the dots to make it. We have to think about, there's so many layers. It's like an onion. It's so many layers of repatriation that we have to consider when we're making this move, and why it's important to donate to people like your program and Ministry of the Future, and it's other programs that I know that are actively trying to do something. But it's hard to get the funding that we need. And even though our people, like you said, $1, $5, $10 a month, if you did that, if we could just do that, we can help so much. So with that, I want to switch gears a little bit. I saw a post from you the other day that really sparked something in me that, I thought about how here people always talking about Black folks don't unite and Black folks don't do this and we don't do that. But I think that many of those people are not from the communities that many of us come from, where that's all we do is work and help and do service. And I saw that you and Zeta Phi Beta, which is my mother's sorority, I was a debutante for Zeta Phi Beta. You all now have a chapter there in Ghana, and you all are building a domestic violence shelter for women.
We are partnered with the domestic violence unit of the Ghana Police Department. So they are commissioning it's a first of a kind in West Africa that deals. They have the courts there, everything, the shelter for the women and children, everything just dealing with domestic violence is in this building. Now, we didn't build that, but we are partnered with them to help them furnish it and things like that. But there are some they want to do it in other districts in Ghana. And so we are trying to help them build those in other districts. We are trying to raise the money for that. So yeah, that is something that we are doing, but we do a lot of other things here. Zeta Phi Beta has put in about 67 water wells throughout Ghana.
Wow.
We do literacy program. We do a lot in Ghana. Yeah.
And that's another part of repatriation that I don't think that people that's here, they don't understand that there's a lot of work that the diaspora is doing in Ghana. And that work we do the same kind of service work that we do here. I see that we're doing it there, and it makes me so proud. Zeta Phi Beta has a chapter there. I know the Omega Psi Phi has a chapter. Who else has chapters? I think I saw
I don't think the Sigmas have a chapter, but the Sigmas are here and they're doing a lot of service work. And let me just say this: the AKAs are here; they're doing service work. Delta's doing service work. Sigma Gamma Rho, the D9, they're here and on the ground and they're putting in work. And let me just say this, because when I post some of the things that we are doing to help communities and help families and help people, I'll see these people, you got this certain group of conscious Black people that, Greeks, Black Greeks, what are Black Greeks doing in Africa? And the thing that really just tans my hide is that I'm like, first of all, we know that we are not Greek. It's Greek letter organization. We know we are African people. We are very clear on that we are African. Let me be clear.
Okay.
So we do not consider ourselves Greek people. It's the letters that are Greek. You understand? Right. So that's a lot of confusion that a lot of people have. And then those same people that a lot of these people are hating on are the ones over here making things happen and putting in the work and doing things. You know what I'm saying? While a lot of people are sitting on the internet and they are armchair revolutionaries and talking, but we're over here on the ground, like literally doing work for the continent of Africa for our brothers and sisters. So I just caution those people who are so quick to say something so negative. When these people are over here giving their life, they are giving their life to help develop the continent of Africa, and you are hating on them because they are a member of these organizations. You know what I'm saying? So, and these people literally put their money where their mouths are. That's the thing.
Right.
They literally put when they say they're going to go into a community and put a water well, they come out their pockets. They don't sit around and hawing, and they come out of their pockets with that money. You see what I'm saying? To make that thing happen.
Absolutely. I know a sister that's an AKA in Kumasi, and her line sisters, they built a hospital, and
we're doing all types of things.
They do all kinds of the thing is, I think that a lot of people, like you say, a lot of these armchair revolutionaries who's sitting behind a computer and they just talking. They're really the reason why I decided to do this channel, because I want to feature people like you who are really doing the work. Myself, I own a farm in Guinea, and we're working our behinds off trying to create a situation that's feasible for more of our people. And some of the comments that I see, and it's like,
I already know.
Really?
Our people literally, and I have come to the conclusion. Let me tell you what I came to the conclusion. A lot of our people are envious. That when they attack you, really, it's really coming from a place of envy.
Right.
You are free. You were able to get free, and I'm still stuck over here, and I don't see how I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm going to attack you, and I'm going to disparage you and I'm going to talk bad about you. You know, that's really only thing I can come up with, because I don't really see why people do that. It's one thing for people who, if you know, somebody just got a YouTube channel and they just talk and talk, they're not doing anything. But when you see people over here literally doing work and you want to talk trash about them, that's something. Yeah. And the trash talking is not coming from the Chinese, it's not coming from the Lebanese, it's not coming from the white people, it's coming from our own people. Our own people, you know.
Speaking of trash talk, without going, I haven't spoken on certain issues that have been happening over the last year or so, or a couple of months or so, within several of the different countries. And I'm not going to speak on it, because I do believe that it's important that we don't pour fuel on the fire of certain things that have been coming up with our people in different countries. You know what I'm talking about. I noticed though that there was a mediation that you were a part of. And that mediation consisted of people from different countries in the diaspora. And it looked to me like you all have like a diaspora coalition or a repatriation coalition. Is that something, or is it something that you can talk about?
Yeah, the Exodus Alliance. It's a 6 organizations that have come together to provide the needed resources and, you know, assistance that our people need on the ground to be able to repatriate. It's the UNIACL under the leadership of Cleo Miller out of Cleveland, Ohio. Everybody should know Marcus Garvey's organization, the UNIACL. And then there is Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program, which is my NGO. And then there is Basani, that's the Black Star Action Network International, under the leadership of Brother Chief Fode Mansarai in Sierra Leone. And then there's the State of the Africa Diaspora, which is the state, the borderless state that represents us at the African Union.
Okay.
And then there is Al-Kibalan City and Made in Africa Project, led by RJ Maki in Senegal. So all of these are, you know, proven champions of the diaspora and repatriation and things like that. And so we say, you know what, let's come together and form a coalition. So where one of us don't have a particular thing, the other one may have it, you know. So we just kind of come together like a puzzle to try to create a situation where no matter what, we got our people. You know what I mean? Like I told you, it was Brother RJ in Senegal who told me about our brother here in Ghana that died. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then, you know, we're gonna have to deal with that situation. When people come and I have people contact me and they be like, Sister, I want to go to Gambia. Do you have anybody? So I got somebody in Gambia that I can link them with. I had a sister that came here to Ghana, and then when she wanted to go to Senegal, and I hooked her up with Chief Fode and his wife, and they were able to receive her and make sure she was okay while she was, in Sierra Leone. And, you know what I'm saying? And then when she left Sierra Leone and she wanted to go to Gambia, and I gave her, okay, contact this sister. She's got a guest house. She'll make sure you and your son are okay over there. So that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
So it's kind of, it just made me think of like the Green Book, but like the African book type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you want land in Senegal, or you know, some reliable land, you know, if you want land in Sierra Leone, the same things like that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You looking for a house.
I was so happy to see that during the time where you all had the mediation, because I found myself just feeling so like how do we mitigate these kinds of issues and they not get so out of control? Especially with people having this access to spread information so quickly. Literally, like as we know, negative information travels so much faster, light speed.
And our people love it.
And they eat it up. They eat it up.
Yes.
And so you have, like literally, I was having like all of these notifications, people messaging me, people calling me, people, and I'm like, first of all, don't call me with no mess. I don't like mess. And
well, you know what? A lot of people asked us to intervene. There were people literally contacting all of us, contacting RJ, contacting me, saying, you know, this is getting out of hand in the Gambia. What y'all gonna do? You know, and that's how we got involved in it and said, okay, let's try to squash it. You know what I mean? Let's get all parties to come to the table and let's try to squash it. So that's what we did, because when these things happen, it really reflects bad on all of us, because what our people in the diaspora need to understand, tribalism is very real on the continent of Africa, and they look at us like a tribe.
Exactly.
Okay. And when somebody's out here and embarrassing themselves and making a fool or embarrassing the rest of it, they look at all of it. And I know Black people know what I'm talking about, because in America, you know, you hate when you hear about a crime.
Yes.
The first thing in your mind, and it's still to this day, on the 21st century, you know, the first thing you think is, please don't let it be black. You hate when it's a black.
Please don't let them.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, because you feel this thing like it's making all of us look bad. Yes. And in fact, listen, you have to understand that the tribalism is a real thing on the continent of Africa, and people, for the most part, now they do intermarry, but for the most part, people stick with their own.
Absolutely.
Ashanti generally is gonna marry another Ashanti.
Exactly.
Fanti's gonna try to stick with Fanti. And then if one of your Fanti brothers go out and they're dating an Airway girl, they say they want to marry, then I'm telling you, the Fanti people gonna be like, well, you know them Airways.
Exactly.
You know them Airways. You better be careful. You know, exactly. They have this thing where they generalize. So when one of us is out here embarrassing all of us and making an ass out of themselves, it got to the point where people in government in the Gambia and in Sierra Leone and in other countries were taking notice of this. And this is what you have to know.
And that was the thing that was, because I was getting messages from people saying, hey, this is what's going on. I was having people messaging me saying, look, I just got some valuable information that I can't share like the details, but it's government officials in other countries talking about this. And I'm like, listen, I can't get involved in that.
Exactly.
I have business to protect. I have things I have to protect. My husband is Ghanaian, and like, I can't get involved in all of this stuff. I can only do, all I can tell y'all is hopefully somebody will jump in and try to mitigate this problem. And literally like the next day, I saw where y'all were gonna be doing the mediation, and I was like, oh, thank God. Because our people do not understand, like West Africa is a very small area. And the internet stuff move fast, and people are watching because we're making it's known that that a lot of us are interested in coming back to Africa. So these people they have to protect their themselves also. So they got to be sure, like, okay, if we're gonna be giving these people citizenship and stuff, we're gonna give them a pathway to citizenship. are we sure we want to do this?
Yeah.
And I tell people, if you had your own country, wouldn't you want to be sure about this stuff before you do it? So I wanted to tell you just personally, I appreciate you all doing that, because it was quite worrisome. And I wasn't, I know more information now because I've been given, some feedback.
Yeah.
But seeing that the way things were going, what was really bothering me is the fact that for us to feel like we can come into these people's country and cause a big ass ruckus, and you won't have no damn support nowhere. Will your family not here? That's like you coming into my hood. You gonna come into my hood and show your ass? No, you're not coming into my hood and showing your ass, because you might get your ass beat, or you might not make it out of there. In some of our hoods here, you might not make it out of there.
Well, you know what a lot of people said is, everywhere, it's a good thing it was the Gambia. She may have gotten away with it in Ghana, but in Nigeria,
never.
She would have come up missing.
Exactly.
I'm just being real.
And that's what I was afraid of.
Nigerians don't play. But at the end of the day, let me just say this. This is the most important point what you just brought up is when you come to Africa, when you get to your neighborhood that you're going to be in, make sure you go introduce yourself to the chief and the traditional council, the queen mother, and let them know that you're there, because that's their land. You may be renting a house there, but that land still belongs to the those families and things like that, right? Right. And guess what? That if you need to get out into the neighborhood, you really, literally, what you need to be doing is finding you an adopted family to become a part of. You need to integrate into the culture. And this is one of the things that really made moving to Africa easier for me than a lot of people, is that my husband's Ghanaian. And my husband's family is here. My husband's family, his classmates, his friends, his boys, they look after me. Even my husband's still in the States working. Yeah. But these people, his cousins, check on me every day. Every day. Yep. His uncles that are superintendents and commissioners in the police department. These people, if I have any problem, I can whip out my phone and I got somebody to call, and they're gonna make sure shit go right. You see what I'm saying? Right. So this is something that I said that it's important for our people to have, and I really want to interview families, see who's open to being adopted families. It's not that you got to go live in the house with them, but become a part of that family. Right. And, when there are holidays and things, that you need a family, because your biological family is all the way in the United States or in the Caribbean or whatever. And when things happen, like when you get sick and you have to go to the hospital, or anything comes up, you know what I'm saying? Or God forbid, somebody died, somebody's going to be on the ground to communicate with your family, to make sure everything, is handled properly. You need a family over here. Yeah. You need to integrate. Do not, I have always been opposed to people who say, we need our own land. We need to come over here, create this thing for us. I'm like, if you're coming to Africa, why don't you just integrate? I think I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that what many people are experiencing is, like, for instance, like my husband is Ghanaian. We're here in the US. He literally has Nigerian friends, Kenyan friends, Ghanaians, anybody who from Africa. They all kick it and hang out and all of that stuff. Granted, he has my family also, but for the most part, he only has one brother here, and they live in different
areas or whatever. They don't see each other all the time. But in certain parts of Atlanta, you have, it's just like little Africa. You got the Gambian area, the such and such area.
It's that way in DC. Yeah.
When I was living in Guinea, it was the same thing. There was an area where the Liberians live at, the area where the Ghanaians and the Nigerians live at, or whatever. And I think that it's more so about familiarity and kind of building that family unit type of thing versus just having a own separate. That's what I imagine that it would be. And considering that we do have these issues where people are alone, I can kind of feel where they're coming from. Like one guy, he explained it to me like, when you first move, you don't have anybody. So if we have like a transition community where you come in, you live there for a little while, we can get somebody to help you learn tree. We can get you somebody to help you learn kind of like what you
that's what me and Ministry of the Future, that's what we're trying to do. We want to create that space that has like some housing to receive people when they come in, and that's basically what the guest house is, what I mean, to receive people and let them feel comfortable.
Right.
Okay. I'm with Sister Ya. She got me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Until they get comfortable and move out, and be able to.
And I think, like, for the most part, once I've talked to people about that kind of thing, it seems to be more so on the lines of that. Like, we just need somewhere for people to land, and it takes some time. Ghana is not easy to assimilate.
Navigate.
Like, and it's not easy to navigate. Literally, for me,
it was easy for me. It's easy. For me, it was quite easy to assimilate. I assimilate.
It wasn't
anywhere that I've lived.
It wasn't for me.
Really?
Yeah, because granted, I think I did well as far as assimilating, and I've done well, but I'm not a people person. So, and I'm not.
And I am.
Right. So it's different. So when you're people who have that kind of personality, is so much easier. But like for me, it was like I'm one of those people who, if I don't know nobody, I'm not saying nothing. Like if I come to your party and I only know you, I'm probably just gonna chill. I'm probably not gonna say anything to anybody because I'm not comfortable in that.
Okay. Well, see, that may be a personality thing, because I'm an extrovert. I can go in and I'll be like, hey, what's up?
Right.
Hey, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm that person. And I'm that way in the neighborhood. I go, they got the little, see, and the thing about me, I don't care. If I can go to airport, I'll fit in. I can go to Transaco, I'll fit in. I can go to the local little hood bar, where they just got some benches and a TV up on the wall.
Right.
And, they just a little makeshift little bar, and I'll go in there and I'll be sitting in there talking shit too.
Right. So
that's just me though.
That's my business partner is like that, where because for me, I'm comfortable anywhere I go. Like, I'm not one of those people who just like, oh, I can't go there because of these kind of people. I'm comfortable wherever I go. Don't get me wrong. But to be that person, like, you seem like a person who will work the room. I'm not a work the room type of person. I'm the person who will be like, okay, this is nice.
I got you.
And then like maybe like if I'm with a person like you, that like my business partner, she'll drag me around the whole party and introduce me to everybody because she know what my personality is like, and she know I'm just kind of like, I don't know them.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's like those of us who it may take a little more to get us loosened up. Because even my kids knew more people in the neighborhood than I did.
Yeah. Listen, and as outgoing and friendly and talkative as I am, my 10-year-old, especially when he was smaller, he was 10 times that. He was like my personality on 10. So everybody knew him. They called him neighborhood brother. I saw the neighborhood brother. He was everybody's brother, you know. That's what they used to call him, neighborhood brother.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about is a topic that keeps coming up for with me and different repatriates is the repatriate community as a whole. Like, how do you see it as far as why it's taking a while to get certain things done?
Because everybody has their own thing. Do not come here we do get together for certain things, certain events and stuff like that. But everybody has their own reason for repatriating. Mm-hmm. And everybody has their own thing that they're trying to do. And so it doesn't always match what you're trying to do. And it's unfortunate because there is a lot of division. I think people need to understand. Don't come over here and think that all these people that have repatriated are all kumbaya and it's people over here literally come from the West. They hate each other's guts. And they've been here 30, 40 years. They don't talk to each other. They hate each other. They literally despise each other.
Yeah.
And hate is not being a strong word. That's the accurate description of what it is. And you have to know that. So take your time and get to know people. A lot of people are out for themselves. They don't care about what you talk about. They don't care about unity. What they want you to do is come to their place and support their business or whatever, but they don't give a damn about any of that other stuff. See, and this is, I think, because I had this epiphany when I was living here. I thought we all are coming to Africa, so we all have this level of consciousness, and we all on this same, and they're not. They're not. Exactly. They're literally not. And that's what you have to understand.
Yeah.
And you need to come over here and kind of feel people out, fill them out, and see if what they're about meshes with what you're about. Don't assume that just because they're here that they're on the same page that you're on. Some of them are over here and they're just black white people. They're just
yes.
They are black white people. That's what they are.
Yeah.
So and they're here. They're coming back too. Yeah. And what I found out, and I don't want to end this on a negative, but it's the truth, and you need to know it. There are people who come over here and they exploit. There are black people who are coming over here from the diaspora, and they are exploiting young children, young people, young girls. They are exploiting people in terms of labor.
Yes.
Their work. They're doing horrible things. And they are black, just like me and you.
Yes.
So take your time and get to know these people.
Yes.
Take your time. I'm going to say that again. Take your time. Not calling names, but these people are here too.
Yes, they are. And that's exactly what you said, exactly what I wanted you to say. And that's the point, because sometimes we try to dance around it and not just really give it to you straight. And at the end of the day, it's people from here who are preying on the naivete of diasporans. They're preying on the naivete of women who are single women,
the indigenous people.
The indigenous people.
Yeah.
They're and I liken it to any other kind of situation, when people see an opportunity, those people are gonna come too. So just like we have loads of people who are coming with a good, clean heart, and they want to do the right thing, and they're trying to unite folks and do all of that stuff. But just as many of us that are trying to do things the right way, it's the same amount of people who are out here and pretending while they're
to exploit a situation. Yeah,
exactly. They're exploiting the situation in so many
and they ways. Look just like they look just like me and you. They look just like me and you. And that's like what you need to know.
They look just like us. They might be. You have people with locks and dashikis and a mud cloth, and they got all of the consciousness you can think of. And they're looking to exploit people. So we have to keep that in mind. But on a positive note, let's end this on a positive note. Zeta Phi, I got to go back to Zeta Phi Beta. Zeta Phi Beta, how did you all and why did you all decide to start a chapter in Ghana? What was that? How did that happen?
Well, there are Zetas already here, and Liberia is the first African. Zeta had the first chapter in Africa, the first sorority to have a chapter in Africa, which is in Liberia, and then it went defunct. But they have since Zeta came in Ghana. They reactivated their charter in Liberia, so they are now active. But so we had some sisters who went to nationals and said we want a chapter in Ghana, and nationals was very excited because Zeta had already been doing a lot of work in Ghana. Zetas had been being in Ghana the whole time. They had, for a long time, for decades, Zeta has been over here putting in work anyway. And we have some older sisters that are Ghanaian who were Zetas. So they have been over here doing things, And so when they went to nationals and put in a request, and then they had to get some women who were basically already doing Zeta type service work, and said, I was approached. There was a sister, she was already a Zeta, and she was here, and I was in the States, and she was like, we Zeta needs you in Ghana. So I was one of these people like, I'm not even interested in anything having to do with, fraternities and sororities. And so she was like, well, let us, can you just listen to what we're about? Learn, can you just listen? So I said, yeah, because that's me. I'm the type of person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I went into it thinking, I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I really got into the history and learned about the organization, all the wonderful works that they've been doing, man, since they came into existence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Over 100 years, we just had our centennial. So I was like, I'm about sisterhood. I'm about finding womanhood. I'm about, scholarship. You know what I mean? I'm about service. These are all the principles that I'm about anyway. And these women are the embodiment of everything that I believe in anyway, particularly the service work. And I told them the service work is really what that sealed the deal for me. You know what I'm saying? In terms of becoming a sister in the organization, because I'm about that work when it comes to helping our people. So they needed a certain number of women to form the chapter, to get it on going, and so I agreed, and here we are on the ground trying to get this work done for our people. So
did you
I'm very excited. We got so much more.
I'm sorry, did you play?
Yes. You know, we don't. Not in Ghana because in Ghana, but we didn't do it in person. Everything was online.
Okay.
Because of COVID.
Right.
You understand? So our whole process was virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. I was wondering about
that. That's what a lot of that. Yeah, that's what a lot of them are doing. Wow. Are you interested, sis? Are you interested?
No, I'm not a sorority person. My mother is a Zeta, and that's why I was, no, that's not. I'm not a sorority.
Well, I mean, I used to say that. I used to say that too, but
yeah.
Come on to that blue and white.
I was Zeta Dem, and I was Miss Congeniality and Cotillion and all of that stuff, but it's it ain't my personality. I'm not a sorority type of person.
We need some more
but I'm
get on over it. Listen, we got a lot of work
watching. I'm sure that there's sisters watching who would be more than interested in joining the Zeta chapter in Ghana. If y'all interested, y'all can reach out to Sister Ya. I'll put some information in the description so they can reach out to you. And I'm sure y'all will get some more sisters to join.
They gotta be ready to work though.
Oh yeah.
They gotta be ready to work.
Yeah, them Zetas work hard.
They have to be ready to work. This is not just some party. This is work. Yeah, it's work. It's a lot of work, but it's for good causes. So it is,
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for such a candid conversation. There's a lot to be taken from this conversation with you. And the work that you're doing, I personally appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your heart for the work for our people. And I just want to encourage you to just keep pushing through. I know our people can be difficult. I know we hard to work with, but just keep pushing through because it will eventually will come around.
Ooh, I love them though. I know.
We gotta love them.